Many NFL players come from tough backgrounds, but this player comes from one of the toughest. Josh Gordon was born and raised in the suburbs of Houston, Texas. His father left him at an early age, which left Josh depressed throughout his childhood. Struggling with depression, Josh turned to drugs to ease the pain away. Josh played football at Baylor for 2 years, impressing NFL scouts the second year with his numbers and his size. Josh was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in the second round of the supplemental draft. Josh was one of the top rookie wideouts in 2012, recording 50 receptions for 80 yards and 5 touchdowns. Josh was a fan favorite of Browns fans, winning them over with every catch. In summer of 2013, Josh had his first of many suspensions due to violating the NFL's substance and abuse policy. Josh was suspended for the first 2 games of the 2013 season. This season ended up being his best season as a pro. Josh would have back-to-back 200-plus receiving yard games, setting an NFL record. Josh would lead the league in receiving yards, recording 1,646. He would also lead the league for the longest catch, with a 95-yarder. Josh ended the 2013 season with 8 touchdowns and being selected to a Pro Bowl. In 2013, Josh broke so many NFL and Browns records it would take too long to mention here. It seemed as if Josh would be a superstar wide receiver for years to come, but sadly, Josh would be suspended in 2014 for drunk driving for 10 games. After the 10-game suspension, Josh would play 5 games, receiving 24 catches for 303 yards. In 2015, Josh would be suspended the entire season for receiving a DUI. During the suspension, Josh would have parties with Browns quarterback Johnny Manziel. The two would get drunk and do drugs, often at parties they threw all the time. Josh didn't treat the suspensions how they should be treated. Instead, he would just use them as free time or vacations and just party. In 2016, Josh was suspended for 4 games by the NFL. A week before Josh's suspension was finished, he decided to enter a rehab facility to improve his health and turn his life around. When the 2017 season came around, Josh needed to be reinstated to be eligible to play. Josh was denied in November, then finally reinstated just in time to play the Browns' Week 13 game against the Chargers. He racked up 85 yards, playing in his first game since 2014. Josh finished the 2017 season playing 5 games, receiving 18 passes for 335 yards and 1 touchdown. The Browns had kept Josh through ups and downs and finally decided to cut their losses by trading him to the New England Patriots for a 5th-round pick. For Josh, this was an amazing opportunity to restart his career anew. He also went from the worst team in the league to the best team, and he would be playing with Tom Brady at quarterback. Josh only played 11 games with the Patriots in 2018, recording 720 yards and 3 touchdowns. At the end of the 2018 season, the Patriots were locked to be in the playoffs, but Josh decided to step away from football to focus on his mental health. The Patriots would go on to win the Super Bowl without Josh Gordon, but he still received a Super Bowl ring that he sold for almost $200,000. In 2019, Josh was cleared to play Week 1. He played 6 games with the Patriots before getting a knee injury, which ultimately led him to getting released. Later that year, Josh was signed by the Seahawks and played 5 games with them before he got suspended for drugs for the 5th time in his career. Josh re-signed with the Seahawks in 2020 and was cleared to play again, but right before he played with the Seahawks, he was suspended by the NFL indefinitely and the Seahawks released him. Since being released, Josh has played in the fan-controlled football league, playing with the Zappers. Josh's career was full of promise and potential, but he threw it all away because of drugs.